Hi everyone, it's Celeste and welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about cosplay! Well, not this time. So this time it's all about wedding DIYs because we are going to be doing our own wedding stuff. In a previous videos, or tons of videos before, I was actually working on making a lot of wedding dresses and things like that. But now we are actually going through and having our own wedding, so I think we're going to be working on a small mini series of wedding DIYs and hold off on cosplay stuff. So if you're new to my channel, I usually work on cosplays, but I also do DIYs, so it helps you get better at cosplaying. Today's video is actually going to be a DIY garter belt.
This is the garter belt that we will be making.
Mine has 3 layers of actual material, and then of course the elastic. And then we have 2 bows and a charm, a bunny and a moon, because you know that's what I love, bunnies and moons. So let me show you what we need. For the materials we will need some elastic, some ribbon. Mine of choice is this beautiful satin lilac color, so beautiful. And we will need some lace. I'm using this little bow one that I got in Los Angeles. I've had this forever. And of course, this second bow one that I got in Los Angeles. And lastly, your adornments, such as charms and extra ribbon. First, we're going to be taking our elastic, and then we're going to nicely stretch it around our leg to the point that it doesn't hurt. You don't want to cut off circulation and make it too tight. Oh, there you go. So, we're going to take it and make sure it's snug enough and stretch it slightly. That way the braid is still nice and thick, but it's not super thin either. Look at that thigh. This is how we're going to be cutting it. Take your scissors and go ahead and cut that. Boink! Nice and easy. You can make 2 of them or you can make 1. I already made 1, so, you know, there's that. Now let's get out our ribbon. So now we're going to take our ribbon, and if you need to, make sure you fry the ends with a little bit of heat. This way it does not come undone. See? No more fraying. Now, what we are going to do is stretch our elastic all the way across it. Once we have a very nice and evenly stretched out piece of elastic that we like, we're going to hold it there, and this is where we're going to cut. So we're going to cut here. A brand new piece here. Then we fray. Check. So first, I want to add here this lace. This lace is going to be shown on the front and not at the bottom. So we're going to line it up here at the bottom here and then sew it down using a zigzag stitch. The zigzag stitch of choice is this one, and make sure that it fits the same amount of your actual lace. And then go ahead and begin sewing. Now, from this part, we're going to go ahead and start attaching the elastic with this part underneath it. So we're going to create a nice stretched sandwich with the lace, the elastic, and our ribbon. Quick side note, this is a very fancy ribbon. You can see that it has multiple colors on it, and the back side is one flat color. Make sure you have the right colors on the right side, that way you don't have one that's inverted. Here we are going to lay it face down. We are going to lay down our lace the same way, halfway in the middle. Change our zigzag stitch, and then go ahead and lay this semi here. Now we're going to lay it here and begin sewing so slightly. A few stitches, readjust, and then stretch all over again. Go ahead and take your time if necessary. Alright, once you're happy with it, it'll look something like this. And we're going to close it by putting the two edges together, making sure that nothing is the wrong way. So it makes a nice circle. Then we're just going to sew it together like this. Now make sure the edges are together like I said previously, and you can see it here now, and then go ahead and sew it back together. I didn't bother changing the stitch because we're going to be cinching this anyways and covering it with a bow next. If you don't want to add embellishments, you can stop here for a plain garter. So now that we have our basic band, we're going to embellish it with some beautiful ribbons. I'm still going to be using this one as the main base ribbon, and then I'm going to be using this really nice see-through bluish clear ribbon here. Then my charm of choice is always my bunny over the moon, so you can see it nicely. So first things first, we need to make a simple bow using this one. What I'm going to do is take a small amount of like purple fabric here, and I'm going to cut it like so. Cutting it. This is really up to you at your discretion at this point. Some people choose to make matching, some don't. I am deciding to make it matching. Fry these edges. And if you want, sometimes if you fry it so close together, it mends it together, so you don't actually have to do a lot of crafting. Because the flame didn't mend it together, I'm going to go ahead and hand sew it together. I'm going to make this into a very nice and tight knot at the edge here so it does not come undone. Now that we have it secured and tied off, now what we want to do is flip it right sides out. Now we want to find the middle point. Once you've found the middle point, go ahead and sew a small seam into it. Pull the string really tight so it scrunches it, and then wrap it around a few times the center pieces. This way it's going to create a new bow. Now before you cut off that string, make sure to tie a few knots into the bow so it keeps its shape and it does not come undone. Then go ahead and cut off the excess, and now you have your first bow. Grab your second smaller piece of string and make 2 loops and then tie 1 knot. This will be a quick smaller bow, and you don't need to double knot it because we're going to secure it in place by sewing it on top of the bigger bow. For my preference, I like this bow to be a little bit bigger than the base bow, and I cut it off. Make sure to singe the edges so that way it does not fray, and then go ahead and sew it onto the big bow. Now I'm taking out my garter belt and I'm going to begin cinching the seam. This seam is actually going to be where we're going to place our bow to hide all of the nastiness. So go ahead and sew a basic stitch and gather it and then make a knot. After you have finished cinching that seam, go ahead and sew your bow on top of it and making sure that it's positioned where you want it to stay. At this time, you also want to sew in the charm that you want to place in, or if you want to add any extra beads or embellishments. After sewing the bow a few times, make sure to tie a few knots into it to secure it. Once you are done, go ahead and remove the excess string and you are finished with your garter. Yay! This is my finished set of garters. I hope you guys learned something from this video and will be using this in your own wedding or in for costumes. If you have any other requests for wedding DIYs, make sure to leave them in a comment down below. Subscribe to my channel for more DIYs and cosplay videos. Thanks so much for watching. Stay inspired, be creative, and I will see you in a future video. Bye!